It's so easy to fall into the trap of learning guitar riffs and licks and even songs without understanding why they work. You can get by just memorizing things for a while. That's what I did, but eventually my memory bank was full and I felt stuck. But you can pick up a few tools like the one I'm going to share with you in this lesson to help you get unstuck. This tool will help you communicate about chord progressions with other musicians, not just guitar players. It will help you learn progressions and even entire songs faster and even by ear. And if you're into writing, it might just help you choose the perfect chord when you're writing music. What we're going to do is dive into a handy tool. I'll tell you what it is in just a second, but we're going to use it to play 12-bar blues in any key. And as a bonus, it's going to help you understand the progression on a deeper level. That's really the tool. But before I show you, I've got a quick challenge for you. I want you to listen to these chords. All right, now listen to these chords. Did you hear that? I played different chords for sure, but the first group of chords kind of sounds similar to the second, right? And we're going to explain all of this with this tool I keep talking about, Roman numeral analysis. You see, both progressions follow the same exact pattern when we apply Roman numerals to the chord, 1, 5, 6, 4. Here's how we're going to do that. There's a shortcut to using Roman numerals with most 12-bar blues, and I'm going to share that later, but first let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Each key has 7 chords, one for each of the letters of the musical alphabet. Some are sharp, some are flat, some are major, some are minor, and even this weird kind of chord called diminished. Let's quickly sort through that, but if you want to go deeper, check out Tuesday Blues lesson number 355, or hop on the fretboard roadmap inside my BGI. A half step is 1 fret on the guitar, and whole steps are, you guessed it, 2 frets. And the major scale follows this pattern of steps and half steps. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. This will help you figure out what notes are in a major key. You just start with any note, we'll call that the root note, and then play that pattern of steps and half steps along one string, and just make a mental note of the note name at each stop along the way. And remember that each of the 7 letters of the musical alphabet has got to be represented, so that's going to help you determine whether a note should be sharp or flat. And these will be the root notes of each chord in the key. Now that you have the notes that are in a key, those are the root notes for the chords, and whether the chord should be major or minor follows this pattern. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Now bring these two together and you can quickly determine the chords that are in any given key. For instance, here's the key of E. So if we start with our 6th-string E and follow that pattern of whole steps and half steps, we've got to go up 2 frets, so that's going to be to the 2nd fret. And if we follow the musical alphabet, E, F, we know that this note has to be named something with an F in it. So we can't call that G flat. We can call that F sharp. So that's what we need, is an F sharp. And then we move up another whole step. Same thing here. We can't call this A flat. It could be called A flat in different circumstances, but here it's a G sharp because we go E, some kind of an F, it's sharp, and some kind of a G is sharp too. Then a half step to A, and that's just A. And then a whole step up to B, same thing, just B natural there. And then a whole step up to some kind of a C, but C natural is right there. So this is C sharp. Another whole step to D sharp. Same idea there with the sharps. It's got to be some kind of a D, so we can't call that E flat. And then finally move up a half step back to E. So that gives us the note names of the chords that we're going to build in the key of E. We'll start with this E, I bet you already know, and then move up to this F sharp. But this has got to be a minor chord. And then G sharp, minor as well. And for the next chord, A, it's major. And I'm going to switch to this familiar voicing here. And then up to the next major, B. The 6th chord is a C sharp minor. And then we have the D sharp diminished before coming back to E. Cool, right? From here, using the Roman numeral tool is actually pretty easy. We just assign a Roman numeral from 1 to 7 in order for each of the chords. Notice that we show the major chords as uppercase numerals while minor are lowercase. And the troublemaker, the diminished chord, is lowercase with an extra symbol so it can feel special. Okay, this is great, but why should we even do this? Well, remember those two sets of chords at the beginning of the video and how they sounded similar even though the chords were clearly different? Well, here's the reason behind that. And we can see it if we list the chords of a key in alphabetical order. Each chord in that list has a specific job based on its position in the sequence. So we can number each chord with a Roman numeral starting with 1, and then we can think of the Roman numerals as kind of a label for the job that the chord performs within the key. And that gives us a way to refer to the chords by their job, and that's independent of a specific key. So the 2 chord in the key of A does the same thing as the 2 chord in the key of E. Even though they're different chords, they play the same role. Using Roman numerals like this will help you change the key of a song while keeping the progression the same. We'll see that in a bit with 12-bar blues, but first let's analyze the basic 12-bar blues progression using Roman numerals. Remember the basic 12-bar blues chord progression in E from Tuesday Blues number 414? We can take this pattern of chords and replace every E with its Roman numeral 1. And we can do the same thing for the other 2 chords in the progression. A is 4 and B is 5. And you'll get this 12-bar pattern that we can use in any key. We play the 1 chord for 4 bars and then the 4 chord for 2 bars, followed by another 2 bars of the 1 chord. And then we play the 5 chord for a bar, 4 chord for a bar, before wrapping up with 2 more bars of the 1 chord. Thinking this way gets to the heart of the progression, and it makes it a whole lot easier to change the key without changing the overall sound or feeling of the progression. Remember I mentioned that quick hack for 12-bar blues? Well, if you look at it, it might be pretty obvious. We just use the 1, 4, and 5 chords. We do that a lot in the blues and exclusively in this particular 12-bar pattern. And you can find these chords really quickly with this little pattern on the neck. Alright, everything that I just played there follows the basic 12-bar blues progression, and it follows that 1, 4, 5 chord hack that I want to show you. There was just some other moves embellishing the structure here, but what I want to show you is how to find the 1, 4, and 5 anytime, no fail on the guitar neck. I follow this pattern. My 1 chord is where I start, and this is in the key of A, so I'm starting with this A note. And if I want to find my 4 chord, so I'm ready for it when it comes up in the progression, I just move up to the 5th string at the same fret, right? And then to find my 5 chord, it's just up 2 frets from there. So 1, 4, 5. This works really well when you've got something that's rooted on the 6th string, but what if we were playing something else? Like say we were playing in the key of D, and whoever you're playing with starts out here. Well, we can find 1, 4, and 5 in the reverse, starting from the 5th string here. There's your 1, and then 4 is drop down to the 6th string and then drop down 2 frets. And then 5 is back up to the same fret, just on the 6th string. So we've got 1, 4, and 5, whatever chord form you're playing. I played lots of them there. So the roots are what we're following here. 1, 4, and then 5. Here's the root. And then if we're going the other way and switching keys here in D, just to show you, we go 1, 4, 5. Here's something you may have noticed. Even though we refer to each bar as the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, we aren't limited to just playing the full chords there. We can just play a riff with the same root as the root of the 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, wherever it shows up in the progression. Whether it's the shuffle or a boogie or the killing floor riff, just plug the riff in and move it around based on the progression. That's pretty cool, right? Let's see the big payoff of the Roman numeral tool by using this grid to play 12-bar blues in a different key. Let's change the key from E to A. We'll need the 1, 4, and 5 chords from that key. So just count up the A major scale, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and you'll find that you need an A chord, a D chord, and an E chord. Plug them into the grid and you get this. And remember, we aren't limited to just playing chords, just play out of that root. So here's an example using something in the vein of Kind-Hearted Woman Blues by Robert Johnson. Hopefully you see how flexible this is. This helps you get above just memorizing groups of chords, and you memorize the progression. Then you can take that and apply it to different keys. So you know the progression in all keys if you just know it once, and how to apply this Roman numeral thing. And of course, you can take the 12-bar blues progression and apply it to different styles with different rhythms. And then you can even change the bars. There's some common substitutions, like maybe we go to the 4 chord in bar 2 for quick change blues. Maybe we put the 5 chord in bar 12 to help us really turn it around. There's so much that you can do with this. But start with the basics. Learn this basic form of 12-bar blues and know it inside and out. But again, don't memorize it in every key. Use this tool so that you know it automatically in any key. If you found this lesson helpful, you'll dig the Fretboard Toolkit. It's a collection of must-know resources, all free, by the way, to help you make sense of your fretboard so you can play the music you hear in your head. And you can sign up at fretboardtoolkit.com, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Until then, practice smart and play on.